Welcome to Chill Zone Hoops recap number 1. We have opening night that we are going to be covering today. Hopefully you guys are enjoying NBA basketball. It is back. I'm so excited for the games tonight that are going to take place. But I just kind of want to talk about the two games that we did get yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to be fully transparent. I didn't get to watch the Celtics game, and I only really watched the second half of the Lakers game. I had to work, so I got off a little late, and I couldn't watch the Celtics game. But I went back this morning after I woke up and just kind of like recap the games, watch through highlights, watch possessions and shots, and just certain things on certain players from both the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Wolves. What I am really excited to talk to you guys about is all four teams and just kind of my thoughts and everything on this NBA season coming up. And we're just going to do a little bit of an overreaction to opening night. First of all, starting with the Boston Celtics, they get the W against the Knicks at home on ring night, 132-109. One thing I was really excited about with this game, like going back to watch it this morning, obviously because I knew what happened, the Celtics starters shot the ball so well. And I know that they broke the three-point record, or they tied the three-point record with 29 in a game, and they really tried to break it towards the end of the game, but them shooting 47% from three with all those misses at the end is actually absurd to me. You have Jason Tatum, who has 37 points. He goes 8 of 11 from three. He really is out for vengeance, I think, this season, and I think it's really cool because over the last few years, we have the Warriors winning the championship over the Celtics, and then that next year, they're not quite as good. They end up being the 7th seed. They end up playing the Lakers in the play-in, and then they end up playing the Kings and winning that series just to lose to the Lakers in the second round. Following that, we have the Denver Nuggets that same year winning the championship, and then last year, we have just kind of like a not post-championship clarity, but even Michael Porter Jr. touched on it, that it's kind of hard to re-lock back in to playing the NBA season after coming off the championship. And I just think that the Celtics are set up so well with Jaylen Brown just not making the Olympic team over his teammate, and Jason Tatum having all of the Olympic stuff that they did. They both have these things that they're really trying to prove this year. And with Jason Tatum, I mean, the first possession of the game, he just drills a three. After that, there was no letting up. He went 14 of 18, just shot the ball extremely well. And all the starters did. You have Jaylen Brown going 5 of 9. He was the worst percentage-wise three-point shooter in the starting lineup at 55%. You have Al Horford going 3 for 5, Derek White 6 for 10, Jrue Holiday going 4 for 6. Like, it's actually absurd. And I know that this is just opening night. Obviously, they're not going to shoot 47% from three and break records every single night. So I think that kind of skews like how people are going to think of the Knicks, especially after opening night. But just looping this all back to what I was kind of talking about with the Warriors and the Nuggets, I think that the Celtics are just going to play the season out so well. I think they're going to be the 1 seed. I think they're going to be the favorites to win the championship again all year. They bring back all of their starters. They don't lose anyone. And they're starting 5 without Porzingis, by the way, who is just an amazing center and really helped propel them to be a champion last year. I think regular season they're going to be fine. If they don't have him in the postseason, I can see where that kind of causes some problems. You don't want probably Al Horford being your full-time starting 5 for a whole 82-game season and the playoffs, but I really think that once he comes back, they're just going to look even better. Moving on to the New York Knicks, I'm not overreacting to them as much. They played a team in the Celtics who are probably the best team in the NBA right now, and they also played against them when their starters shot so well from three. So I think that it's kind of skewing how we think of them. Their starters also didn't play a lot of minutes. OG and Mikal both played 34, but the rest played 24 minutes apiece. So Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson, they really didn't play a whole lot. So it's kind of hard to see like how they kind of looked. I think Jalen Brunson looked really good in spurts. Mikal Bridges looked much better in the second half. One of the biggest talking points about the Knicks going into the season is Mikal's jump shot is broken. And it's one of those things where like you're not focusing on fixing your shot in the season, you're focusing on fixing your shot in the offseason. So with us moving into the season, he's just going to try to maintain the jump shot that he kind of like recreated or fixed, which I don't know why they messed with it in the first place. Johnny Davis just came out and said that people were messing with his jump shot and that's what messed him up so much. So it's one of those things where like a lot of the times if it's a good jump shot and it's not like, you know, fully functional, you should just leave it alone. Moving on from that, he was 0 of 5 in the first half. So those were kind of scary shots, but he really found his groove in the second half. He went 2 of 3 from 3, and the shot looked a little better. But what I really think is encouraging for Knicks fans and the Knicks themselves with Mikal, his mid-range game looked pretty decent. I feel like that helped him get into rhythm with his shot more too, getting the closer looks, the easier ones from 2, and I think that this will boil over, and by the end of the season he won't be like this drastically terrible 3-point shooter. I think that he'll figure it out during this season. I don't think that it's going to be a main focus of his. I think it's just going to kind of work itself out, and that'll really help the Knicks not look as scary. As for Karl Anthony Towns, I think he'll look a little better with Mitchell Robinson. I think he really learned how to play with Rudy Gobert last year in Minnesota. I think that the first year was kind of shaky, and last year they kind of figured it out. And obviously Mitchell Robinson is not Rudy Gobert, but I think that fit-wise, they can kind of replicate a few of the same things and really like put Karl Anthony Towns in a position where he can spot. And then Mitchell Robinson can be the one pick and rolling and then pick and popping with Karl Anthony Towns. I think that it'll just play off a lot better when Mitchell Robinson's back. That also sends Josh Hart probably back to the bench with Deuce McBride, who was amazing last night, by the way. He shot the ball so well, and I think he's just going to help replace a lot of the void of Dante DiVincenzo now that he's gone. Deuce McBride was really good last year, but I think that there just wasn't enough like space for him to really thrive, and if he plays like this, obviously probably not shoot as well as he did, but I don't want to say that I'm worried for the Knicks going into this season because I do have them as the 2 seed, and I think that they're going to be the second best team in the East, if not third, maybe behind the Bucks. But with the Sixers already having injuries, I really think that they're just going to be the second best team in the East. I think if we overreact over tonight, that's just dumb. They played the best team who shot the lights out, and it was a very unfortunate like circumstance. One of the announcers literally said like halfway through the game, like not even a team of all-stars could beat the Celtics last night. And they might not be wrong. I mean, the way the Celtics shot the ball was incredible. So big takeaways. I still think the Celtics are the best team in the East. I think the Knicks are a little shaky and they have some things that they can work out, but I have faith that over the 82 game season, they'll get things worked out. Let's move on to the Lakers Timberwolves. This game was insane. I opened Instagram like as soon as I got home and I see Bronny James checking in with his dad, and I was like, oh my God, like the Lakers are playing right now. I completely forgot that there were 2 games last night, and the Lakers looked really good. I watched a video this morning and I can't remember exactly who put it out there, but he's kind of just going over like in spurts like JJ Redick's like coaching decisions. Kenny Beecham also talked about how the Lakers were offensive rebounding and they were playing good defense. And these are 2 like really big things that I think are important. But the other takeaways that I took away from this game for the Lakers specifically, the new starting lineup works incredibly well. I think that JJ Redick has empowered Rui Hachimura, who I watched possessions of. I watched him in the highlights. Like, he looked really good with the starters, and that's really encouraging for me because I think that Rui just being in the starting lineup and being empowered and knowing he's a starter for sure is just going to help unlock things with him. Secondly, the Lakers had a steady offense. They looked really good. They looked like it was flowing better. Defensively, also, they were switching everything. JJ Redick kept saying 1 through 5, 1 through 5, and I think that the Lakers just really look well together. It looks a lot more smooth, and it looks like they're finally like a cohesive team. And JJ Redick has really done a good job of getting that out of them. Thirdly and lastly, they never let the Wolves back fully into the game at the end. And watching the second half of this, especially compared to last year, it felt like a Lakers game to blow. The Timberwolves were down by a pretty decent amount. I don't remember the exact number, but they kind of worked their way into it being like a 2-3 possession game like towards the end. And last year there were a lot of those games that the Lakers ended up losing. So I think that JJ Redick has done a good job like keeping the Lakers steady from quarter 1 all the way to quarter 4 and just kind of playing the exact same brand of basketball the entire 48. So the final thing we do have to talk about for the Lakers was LeBron and Bronny checking in together. I didn't catch it live, so I think that for the people who were actually watching the game live and then it happens, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is actually happening. But the way that I saw it, and like I watched all the videos and then I watched it in like real time and like the full possession of Bronny being on the team, it was super cool to have LeBron like, super nonchalant about it and like not really care, but it's him and his son, and they made a really, really cool like deal about it without making it like super overblown. I think that it is a really cool thing and super, super, super incredible. So it should be highlighted. I think a lot of people are just hating if they don't see the point of like it being such a big deal because it really is. That's like his kid and he's on the same team as him. So that was really, really cool. As for like his actual play on the court, he didn't do anything like super fantastic that I think guarantees him minutes moving forward. But the other Lakers rookie, Dalton Connect, did look pretty good. He didn't play a whole lot, but he did get some open looks. He did knock down a three. In transition, he got his nice little bucket. So I think that he's going to warrant a lot of minutes off the bench compared to other people by the end of the season. He's just such a good fit. And for them to get him that late in this last year's draft, I think it just kind of like helps boost up the Lakers. I think another thing that's underrated about the Lakers this season is Bronny being on the team motivates LeBron, and it probably gives him a little bit more gas in the tank to actually play through this season and play hard. And I think the team just feels like rejuvenated. It feels fun. It feels like a very solid, like close culture. And I think that this is a really good thing for the Lakers moving forward. As for the Timberwolves, I think they looked pretty decent. I'm not as like worried about them as I kind of was originally with the Julius Randle trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Dante DiVincenzo didn't shoot the ball well tonight, but he looked pretty good out there on the floor next to Anthony Edwards. I think that once they figure out their rotation, once they kind of get guys like into their roles and mesh as a team, I think that they're going to look really, really good. You got to remember, it took Karl Anthony Towns a good year plus to kind of learn how to play with Rudy Gobert. I don't know if it's going to take Julius Randle that long, but I think that he can kind of mesh with him over time. I really want to see Rob Dillingham. I thought that we would see him tonight. He looked pretty good in preseason, so I think eventually we will see him. If it's not like super soon, hopefully it's in the near future. But other than that, I don't have a ton of takeaways from the Timberwolves. They played really well. They almost willed themselves back in, but I think the Lakers are a really good team. I think that they're going to be a very, very good regular season team, which we haven't really been able to say about them over the last couple of years. So I'm very excited for this NBA season. If you guys did enjoy my rambling, if you guys disagree or agree with anything, leave it in the comments. I'm super excited for NBA ball. We've got about 10 games tonight that are going to be playing. So I'm going to watch the ones that I can. I'm super excited to just watch other teams in their opening night, but I think we're going to do these recaps about once a week, kind of talk about the league and some storylines that I kind of like. I really wanted to set my stuff up over there again, kind of like I did with the introduction video, but it is a lot of work to move my mic over there. And I think that this is a nice enough, setup, and it's the same as my gaming face cam, but I think that we can make it work over here at Chill Zone Hoops. So if you guys do enjoy the content, please leave a like, subscribe. I got some 2K stuff coming up in the next week or so be on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.